You know, there's an old saying, boys and girls, the more natural things sound, the better they are. Well, guess what? Campbell Corner time. Indeed, she's back in studio here in East Grand Forks at Northland College. Hello, Director Charlotte Helgeson.
Well, hello.
Hello.
I think I'm in the right spot as far as the Helgeson goes and the big Viking I see on the wall.
Oh, you see my flag on the wall?
Yes.
Well, for those who don't know, I have had a Viking flag for some years now in a closet in a corner somewhere, and ashamed to be a Viking fan. No.
No.
Anyway, with the success of the Vikings this year, they're in the NFC Championship game on Sunday. I have brought my Viking flag to work. It's on the wall behind me here, and you like it?
Yes, it matches a few other items you have in the studio here.
You mean my Viking helmet and my Viking sticker and all that good stuff? Yes. I'm tempted to paint my windows here purple and gold. What do you think?
I say go for it.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We don't get this opportunity often.
It's been 41 years since our last Super Bowl, by the way.
Ouch.
1977.
Okay, we're ready.
Against the Oakland Raiders. By the way, before I forget,
yes,
I received a letter in the mail from the Campbell Library about overdue books.
Ah.
So let's review here now. I was fortunate to have 2 books from Campbell Library that I read to my grandson Henry more than once, quite often. And I had those books for, technically 2 weeks? Right?
Before you could renew, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't renew, and you renewed for me, so that's 2 more weeks. That's a month. And then after a month, I forgot to bring them in, drop them off, return them, whatever. Then I received some nice text messages from Campbell reminding me to do so. I believe I had maybe a phone call, recorded phone call. And then I received a letter in the mail, a threatening letter. No.
No.
Now, before I got the letter, though, this is the interesting part. I did have the books with me one day, and I was going to pick up my son from school. I picked him up. I said, would you mind if we swing around Campbell Library so I can drop off the books? And he said, sure. Yeah, sure. So we swing around, and I said, there's a book drop outside the building. By the main doors, you pull down the hatch there and drop them in. We're all set to go. He said, I prefer to go in, Dad, and drop them off personally to maybe Charlotte and say hi. I said, fine, go for it. So he gets out of the vehicle, walks through the doors in the main entryway there, turns right to pass through the system you have there.
Yes.
The security system.
Yes.
As he's passing through, these red lights go off. This alarm goes off,
red lights.
and there's some spotlights that go off, and then there's a German Shepherd that appears around the corner growling at him.
Hunt.
Yes.
No.
The dog is embellished.
Okay,
but
the red lights.
The rest of it happened.
No.
There was an alarm, lights, the whole bit, and people came running toward him from the staff area they were gathered at. And they were, looking pretty upset.
My staff running, that's not going to happen either. But
okay, maybe I embellished that part too. But there was security there that said, hey, you have something in your possession that we should have back or didn't know about or whatever. So I was very impressed by that. He was a bit frightened, but it does work.
It does work, and I will apologize for that because I checked those books out for you, and I went out the back door. So they were never desensitized.
They were still sensitized.
Yes, because I made this silly plan that they'd come back with me someday from Campbell Corner, and they'd come back in through the back door.
Now, that's an interesting point because I did not know that you desensitize material leaving the building.
Yes, we do.
Wow.
And then we resensitize when they come back, so they know when they're home. And they know when they can be someplace else.
Is that a secret, how you sensitize and desensitize?
Yes.
Oh.
Though you will, if you ask a few toddlers in town, they will tell you that they have helped us zap books.
Oh, there's a zapping process.
Yes, there's zapping going on.
Okay. So can that be applied to people? Can you sensitize and desensitize people?
No,
just
but
material.
We have rattled a few cages. We did have one young man who wouldn't go through the gates with a book for many years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it is an icky sound.
It's
so if
icky. I like that. It's icky.
It is.
It is scary.
If you check out a book and you don't see the staff turn around and do something really cool with the book, then you should say, "Did you zap them?" And they'll know exactly what you're talking about. So it'll be fine.
Well, I learned something today. This is great.
Yep.
Material is desensitized and sensitized as it goes in and out of the library. That's a good thing to know.
And thank you for returning the books.
Thank you for your patience. Your incredible patience, yes. Well, we learned something, and guess what? We're out of time. No. We have a few minutes left to go to our listed topics here. Number 1, dragonology. I have no idea what that is. What is dragonology?
That's interesting because when I put that on my list, I walked out to my staff in the back room and I said, now I'm going to go talk to Mr. West on the radio about dragons. Now, I don't think he's one who reads about dragons on a regular basis.
No.
So could anyone think of a dragon that Mr. West could name?
Puff.
And that's exactly what we all came up with.
There
Good
you go.
job.
Yeah, you old baby boomer, you. Puff the Magic Dragon. Live by the sea.
That's
yes.
right. And
all
we could probably all sing that song, too.
Oh, good.
But there are a lot of people who do read about dragons. There are dragons in popular movies now. And so for K through 5 grades, we will be having dragonology. So they get to look at the different kinds of dragons. There have been, through history, creatures who have been called dragons, which may not be of the mythical type necessarily, even though the stories about them become myths.
I've noticed some people called dragons in the past. Yes.
They have been named that without a doubt.
Yeah.
But it'll be a lot of fun to come in and just see the kinds of things that Andrea can do. We're not going to bring a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave them out wherever they
real things.
Yeah,
okay.
wherever they grow.
I think they grow near Oslo.
I think so. The winter ones do anyway. But that's January 29th.
All right.
And that's at 6 o'clock for K through 5th grade.
All right, 6 p.m., January 29th. Dragonology at Campbell Library. It's free.
Yes.
FREE. Number 2, RALPH, which stands for Random Awesome Library Fun. Am I right on that one? All right, that's coming up every other Tuesday?
Yes.
All right. So that means it was held yesterday?
Nope, it'll be held next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, okay, which is the 19th, I believe, right? No, that's impossible.
No, 19th is Friday.
Let's see, Friday.
21, 22, 23. 23rd?
23rd, yeah. All right. So next Tuesday, January 23rd, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, RALPH, which is for basically teenagers?
For teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, doing lots of fun
A whole
stuff.
lot of fun, yes.
right.
There's usually a lot of noise that comes out of that room.
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, a side note here, a sidetrack, which I do quite often. I saw a commercial for a credit card, and there's a young lady at the librarian's desk. It's a very large library. And there are people studying. It's very, very, very quiet, which is the first mistake they made in producing this commercial. And she's whispering about the benefits of this credit card to the librarian. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, yeah. She's telling her all about the wonderful things the credit card does, and the librarian yells, "Really?" And everybody jumps.
Oh,
but it's that stereotypical image of a library. It bothered me.
Yes,
you know?
and it should. We had a really fine meeting at the library last night. Some people who offered to help us do some marketing. People we pulled from the public who don't use our library.
Right.
So how do we get to you to notice us? And they were surprised when I talked about how noisy we are.
A good noise.
And it doesn't mean we necessarily sound like a gym all the time.
No.
But we are not afraid of children making noise. We are not afraid of people coming in and having a conversation or working on a project together.
It's alive.
It is alive.
It's human. There we go.
And
All
how
right.
many of us think out loud.
I do.
You know, we talk it through out loud.
And I get paid for it, too, by the way.
You are a fortunate man.
Well, kind of, yes. Number 3, new book reviews. We have time for a couple of those. What do you want to review?
I'm going to be really quick then.
Okay.
I've just read a couple. I'm in the middle of one just to the end, and I'm liking every minute of it. One is called The Good People, which is by Hannah Kent. And it has to do with Ireland and the people in the rural part of Ireland in the 1800s who still very much were in the old ways. And they treated their children by what they were taught. They didn't have the regular doctors. They had more of the witches or a person who might be called a healer, but they still were kind of frightened of them that lived in the woods.
Okay.
And they would give advice. And it's actually based on a real case where a caretaker for a young child, the grandmother of a child, and the medical healer in the community are accused of murder.
Really?
And they're brought to the city to find out how that turns out. So much like, how you decide whether somebody is a witch or not back in the witch hunts. It's like that, only Irish.
Okay. That's called what?
The Good People.
The Good People. All right, book 2?
The Bear and the Nightingale.
The Bear and the Nightingale.
Yes.
Is that for adults, children, everybody?
It's for adults. And it takes place in Russia.
Russia.
In the winter.
In the winter.
And so I'm feeling very fortunate when I read right now.
Kind of depressing.
Because not only can I relate to the cold,
yes.
but it talks about them being hungry and them being frightened.
Yeah.
You know, back in a day where they couldn't turn on the TV and see what the weather was going to be or if school was canceled.
Right.
They will all huddle together in front of the fire. But it's fascinating to read about that culture and how they worked so hard and worked together, how important the family was. It's a really good book.
What time frame was that? What decade would you say?
I'd say that's probably about the early 1800s, too.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, times are tough.
Yep.
All right. On that happy note. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate that.
There's lots of happy, cheerful ones, too.
Well, it's good. There's a wide variety of information and reading material and reference material, all that good stuff at Campbell Library. To find out more about this vibrant institution, this building, which is more than a building, what can folks do?
They could call 218-773-9121. They can go to the website at egflibrary.org.
Or
they can come and visit us, 422 4th Street Northwest, right between Sherlock Park and the fire station.
Come on in, warm up.
Yes.
Although the weather's supposed to be nice now coming up. Now, define nice. 35 to 40 by tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. There'll be people
Friday.
coming in without their coats on.
Yeah.
They'll think it's spring.
Barbecue weather. All right. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Campbell Corner heard Wednesdays just after 3 here on Pioneer 90.1.